What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with an FNGR technicals, raw price action, and statistical thread of analysis on this happy Monday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, team, so we are looking at FNGR on the 12-hour chart, and it pretty much followed exactly what we said, right? So we ended up getting up to that, let's see, what was that high? We ended up getting to around 620. I didn't think that we would be able to make it that high, right? But essentially we did resist right at that SMA 10 like we were talking about, right? And then we actually pulled on back right into the range that we were speaking of. Unfortunately, we did not get the drop all the way to the zone that we were looking for. But remember too that we were waiting for a potential second day, of which I said Monday by accident, but I meant today, right? So this, I'm sorry, Tuesday. So I'm expecting a potential continuation here to maybe the area of about, it looks like it's okay. It looks like it's saying maybe around 535 here, right at the bottom of this, this range here. Okay. So if we can get that 534, 56 right around there, it looks like we can face a pretty enormous bounce from this area. One way that we're able to tell that we are in fact following a triangle is actually this. So whenever you have declining volume and a triangle, that actually is one of the validators to show you that you are in fact within a triangle formation. So the reason I'm saying that we still have some ways to go down here to maybe that 535 area, I'm saying this because that would essentially be the validation, the final validation or confirmation that we are within a trend here, and that trend would be a symmetrical triangle or a pennant. Right, so from that we would actually, be right at the apex of the triangle, and then we could look for an upside movement here, right? So as I do see some indications of that potential. So let's go ahead and continue the analysis here and see what's going down. Okay, so here is the weekly time frame broadening descending wedge. Okay, so let's go ahead and just zoom in here as hard as we can, right? So just so that we can see what's going down in the price action. As far as the resistance is, the newly converted resistance, this yellow line, into now, because we're on above it, we reclaim the outside into a support, right? So let's see that bottom side target. Notice that we have 3 days, 20 hours to close this weekly candle. Okay, so so look right down there. Look at the price action on the right hand side. It says 538, right? So that's very confluent with the with the symmetrical triangle that we're looking at, right down here. Potential drop to around that area of around 535, 536, right around there. And I think we could actually get that bounce to the upside, right? So there are now two formations suggesting that target, right? So what I mean by two formations is, yes, this is one, the symmetrical triangle on the, or the pennant, right, on the 12-hour, and also this very, very, very large broadening descending wedge on the weekly time frame. So they both have confluence within that target. Okay, so that's very good. Another thing that we could actually see if we are in fact in the control of some type of bearish action is we can pull up, as you can see in the promo video in the beginning of this video here. You see that the pre-orders are actually ready for the indicators. The renewed and mastered indicators, right? The codes are now entirely different and way tighter. So we can actually take into consideration a statistical indicator, which is called DBSI. So DBSI actually measures the entirety of every single candle printed throughout the trading history of the asset and gives you a score right up here of who could be in control from that particular time frame. So you can see here that the 6-hour is suggesting that the bears are leading the way with a 53% over the bulls at a 47%. So you can see just how slight that pressure to the downside is, right? We don't have that much pressure to the downside. In fact, you can see here clearly that the volume is declining. That's indicative of some bears, that the bear strength is actually exhausting here, right? So, and now one more thing that we could actually take into consideration is the enhanced MACD, which is the volatility versus momentum profile that I usually look at via the BBWP, which is this right here, BBWP volatility versus momentum. So except that we've consolidated it into one indicator, right, to make it a little easier. So this is that profile, and it does have a bear signal printed, and it still has not recovered with a bull signal. right? So you would get a bull signal here, you get the upside, you get a bear signal here, you get the downside, right? Just like you see here, right? So we're still actually expanding here, and there is still downside to be looked at. So yeah, I guess I would have to honestly say that this is still suggesting a downside, right? And we are to look at a few cents down in the coming session, right? So, I mean, the indicators are absolutely suggesting something very natural here, okay? So I remember that I did speak to you and I said that these are just, it's part of the ebb and flow, right? So just know that it's a bullish formation, and it's normal for us to pull back and to face these supports, right? So another thing is that while we have the broader markets pumping to the upside, which they pretty much were all day, a lot of the smaller cap and micro cap assets will face downside pressure, right? So I am expecting a potential pullback coming in either tomorrow or Wednesday for the broader markets, of which then would actually assist the price action on the smaller caps and micro caps to an upside. Okay, so I would honestly see the correlation. I would honestly see an inverse correlation like that. So I'm just presenting it to you as an idea. Go ahead and backtest it all that you want, right? But I've noticed that myself. Okay, team. So yeah, if you are interested, go ahead and get in touch with us at arqindicators@gmail.com, and we'll get you situated. So let's go ahead and move on to the next chart here and see what we have, right? So just in case, right? So these are the areas that I have as a support, and this support line here is something that has already been drawn here for a while. We've already had this drawn right here, and notice that we have a 538 top, right? Which is also, I mean, the 1.272 at 534, which is pretty much the symmetrical triangle or the pennant. A bottom side, right? And we have the top side of my range here, my discretionary range at 538, which is literally the support of the macro trend here, right? And so, and we have the, I think it was the 1.618 located there somewhere too. So team, it's just, we have massive amount of confluence within this area right here. So I don't want to call it a liquidity trap, but it is a very strong demand zone for the for bulls, right? So let's go ahead and just be reactive to whatever is happening in the markets and see what's good, right? So let's go ahead and now take a look at the immediate short-term time frame RSI to the longer term. So this is the 30-minute immediate short term, suggesting already a little bit of an upside, but you already know, if you're a regular viewer of this channel, that I am not a fan of these tiny little pivots, as they often tend to fail, right? So similar to this, right? You got to fake out. Oh, are we going to make it to the upside? Nope. And then again, are we going to make it to the upside? Nope. And then again and again and again, right? So we don't want that, right? So we need to get a clear validation that we are suggesting a continuation to the upside, and that looks like it's not quite there yet, right? So all of these are tiny little pivots. I'm not really sure of the price action just yet, right, team? So now if we go to the hourly time frame, notice that we are in the bearish control zone here, right? So by hourly time frame, let's see that. Also in this actually is more significant. We're in the gravitational zone here of the bear weakness percentile, which would essentially introduce or influence a downside right here, as we would get pressured to the downside. Moving average giving us already a hint. Right, same situation here on the 4 hour. The moving average is giving us that hint to the downside. We're also facing a downside here on the RSI signal. Also notice here that the 12-hour time frame is still, I mean, arguably this one is within the gravitational zone, so we may actually get an upside, but the moving average is still suggesting the downside. So now let's go ahead and just skip the daily and let's go straight into the buy daily. And remember that we were talking about this just yesterday, right? So we already passed the gravitational zone where we were believing to see if we can get a pump to the upside, but the positioning of the RSI signal did not meet the $5.34 to 38 zone that we were looking at, right? So this is still showing that we have a little bit of downside still to go before a bounce to the upside. Okay, which is why I'm saying that we can face 534 to 538 even still, honestly, to face the support of the buy daily SMA 14. And we did also speak about the duration of this, that we were to expect a potential breakout coming in maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, right? So we're still within the plan, team. Everything is still looking good. please, I would just kind of practice some patience here. Definitely don't take this as like me telling you that it's bearish and it's going to fail forever. I'm just telling you that it is part of the natural ebb and flow, right? So I just want you to be very careful in the markets. But first and foremost, definitely know that I am not a financial advisor. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Okay, team, I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell. Mañana. Later, team. Peace. Adios.